Hello everyone, I'm meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert desk. Clearly, I'm still a little sleepy this morning. Let's talk about some of the breaking news we've got out of Craven County, where a rabid raccoon was found. The Craven County Health Department says the raccoon was found on Old Brick Road near Vanceboro yesterday. Officials warn any person that is bitten or exposed to the potentially infectious saliva from the animal to call their healthcare provider or the health department for a rabies risk assessment. Officials ask anyone who sees an animal demonstrating unusual behavior to call the Craven County Animal Protective Services line at 252-639-4256. And now we want to turn to the latest between Israel and Hamas as the fighting in the Gaza Strip continues. NBC's Matt Bradley has more from Tel Aviv.
The war moving into new territory. Israel expanding its operations yesterday to an area in central Gaza for the first time in this war. Israeli officials believe some of the remaining hostages taken during Hamas's October 7th attacks may be held there. The widening assault comes as 28 Western countries, including the UK and France, criticized Israel's drip-feeding of aid and inhumane killing of civilians, including children in Gaza. In response, Israel blamed Hamas for starting the war and prolonging it, saying Hamas is responsible for suffering on both sides. An American ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, slammed the joint statement as irrational and disgusting. It comes after questions over aid in Gaza, after at least 100 people were killed Sunday while waiting for food. The IDF said it fired warning shots against a threat. The White House saying President Trump has a good relationship with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and has called him when he has concerns about Israel's past actions, including strikes in Syria and bombing a church in Gaza.
He wants the killing to end, and he wants to negotiate a ceasefire in this region.
Famine conditions are worsening in Gaza. The World Food Program warned yesterday that a quarter of the population faced famine-like conditions. Palestinian health officials said at least 19 people had died earlier this week from acute hunger. Ambereen Salimi is an American doctor who's been working in Gaza for the past 3 weeks.
I have never seen anything like what I've seen here in Gaza.
Children at this soup kitchen are desperate for food, but the kitchen has closed for the day. Have mercy on us, this woman says. Have mercy on our children.
Again, that was Matt Bradley reporting. We now want to turn to your weather forecast, where today, again, we are looking at cooler temperatures, but unfortunately, the humidity is still fairly high. And while we are going to see a dip in humidity, it is still likely going to be feeling fairly summery as we head into the afternoon. I do want to highlight we are watching again some rain showers working their way off the coast of Carteret County. Anyone to pull away from Cape Lookout. Had some light showers earlier today. Right now, Wayne County areas just off to the west of Goldsboro and just to the south of Goldsboro, seeing a few light showers currently coming down. Air temperatures set up right around the 80-degree mark. Some of us already kind of cruising up into the mid-80s. We've got 84 degrees in Windsor as well as Kenansville, 83 degrees in Hatteras, Oriental, as well as Beaufort and Elizabeth City. Still some in the upper 70s. Goldsboro, one of those areas, 78 degrees right now in central Wayne County. We've got 77 in Ahoskie, 79 in Roanoke Rapids. But that's your air temperature. Here's what it feels like outside. And right now, already starting to feel like we're at 90 degrees or hotter through Windsor, Kenansville, as well as Oriental and Beaufort. It is, again, going to be a summer day, but we are likely going to avoid the type of heat that we had over the past several days, and that is encouraging. Now, right now, humidity again still high. We're still seeing dew points in the 70s throughout most of eastern North Carolina. Those of you watching around Elizabeth City and Manteo, you guys are enjoying the early push of that drier air, where dew points compared to where we were 24 hours ago have fallen 7 degrees. That is significant enough to where you're probably noticing a difference. Now, those of you seeing a 2 to 3 to 4 degree drop, not nearly as noticeable. But again, this is going to be a process that takes takes us pretty much the whole day. Here you can kind of see that green over eastern North Carolina, again highlighting just how humid we've been, start to lighten up. And that is encouraging. That's what's going to make it feel maybe a little bit more comfortable by this afternoon, again, compared to what we just got done with over this past weekend. Now, unfortunately, the low humidity, or I'm gonna say it with air quotes, the low humidity, if you really want to call it that, that will be gone by the time we get, I would say, into tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon. Later on tonight, air temperatures dropping into the 60s will certainly help us out, but with a wind that's going to start to shift more to the east-southeast, that will bring back some of that humid air. For this afternoon, 86 degrees by 1, 87 by 2, hitting 88 degrees between 3, 4, and 5 p.m. Some areas may try to seek up to around 89, possibly 90 degrees, but it's not going to be the same sort of heat we had yesterday. Now, that same sort of heat we had yesterday, that will be back later on this week and into the upcoming weekend. But for this evening, upper 70s by 9, mid 70s by 10 and 11. We may actually see temperatures dip into the upper 60s by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. And again, that is going to have an impact on just how humid the air is. Of course, I may see a little fog out there coming up tomorrow morning as that moisture just kind of gets squeezed out of the atmosphere. Could again lead to some low visibility early tomorrow morning, but again, not a certainty, just something to kind of watch out for. Early tomorrow morning, we could see again another opportunity for a few showers along the coast. Nothing again extreme, but for those of you on your morning commute, you may need to again flick on those windshield wipers at times. Those coastal showers will try to linger through Wednesday, mostly due to the fact that we've got a stationary front set up right off of our coast, and that's going to be the source of those coastal off and on showers. So long as that stationary front is there, which is expected to be for your Tuesday, today, Wednesday, and Thursday, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, until we get to Friday, that's when that high pressure system you're seeing back towards Mississippi, Arkansas, and Louisiana, that high is going to gradually start to work its way a little bit further back towards the east later on this week, and that again will help push that stationary front a little bit further off of our coast, allowing for drier conditions and sunnier weather to take hold by the time we get to Friday. And that's why we see the big temperature jump from today and tomorrow into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The addition of that sunshine, the shifting of the winds will have an impact on our air temperatures, and one that will take those temps into the mid to upper 90s this coming weekend. 96, 97 degrees expected across the east for your Saturday and Sunday, and that is why both of those days, again, are first alert weather days because of that heat and humidity danger. With the higher overnight lows, humidity is expected to rise as well, so 97 degrees will certainly reach that 105 to 110 degree heat index. In fact, I anticipate a few areas possibly getting up to around 115 degrees for that heat index if we do, in fact, hit that 97 degree air temperature. That's all we have time for today's 10 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday.
This hour of the WITN First Alert Desk is sponsored by ENC Pirate Realty.